Littyyy Podcast. Littyyy Podcast. Littyyy. Be high, Holden. We are back with another episode of the PRSPCTVS Podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Littyyy Bro Flacko. This is Holden Stephan Roy. Say hi, Holden.
Hi, Holden.
And we're back with episode number. You know what? We're not going to do numbers. We're not going to do numbers.
We're not doing numbers.
360.
We don't know the order. We just know we're recording them all right now.
Right. We're recording them all right now. We're here with a very special guest, a hip-hop legend, Brooklyn representative,
Long
Island representative,
worldwide,
golden era representative, like one of the kings of the game, future representative, facts,
everything.
Dinco D.
Yo, big blessings to have you with us.
Yes, yo. Thank you so much for blessing us with your time. We know it's very important, very valuable. We're not gonna waste too much of it. We're gonna get straight into it, right?
Yeah.
The way that we usually start this is we kick it a little about which one's like our origin story, I guess. And what it was we did some. I did a project, the Littyyy Bros project that you actually were in the video for the Littyyy Bros Redux. That video, that project, I had an engineer from Montreal mix the whole project down.
Yeah.
And he saw it, and that engineer is kind of like, I always say, he's kind of like, I feel like he should have been a New Yorker, because like his attitude is pretty New Yorker, which is like he doesn't share anybody's music he works with, right? Which is like, I can't co-sign everybody's music I work with, right? But like the people that he does work with that he likes, right? Like he co-signs, so he like shared our stuff, and Holden saw it, and he was like, yo, pretty dope video, right? And then he did an album review on the album, and it was the most in-depth album review I was like, yo, we got to work on something together. And we bring my friends to the table, and yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you giving us your time then too. Right, exactly. But yeah, so let's get to your origin story, right? Because that's what we're here to do, is get your perspectives and your origin story. So why don't you tell the people where you're from and where are your parents from?
I'm a product of Carolinas, North Carolina,
Word.
South Carolina. You
Okay.
know? Really a country baby.
Right.
My pops is from North Carolina. My mom's is from South Carolina.
Bless.
And they moved to New York and got married and made a New York baby. You know?
Right. Okay. So what hospital were you born in?
I was born in Cumberland. Actually, the same hospital Mike Tyson was born in.
Word.
A couple other people. But it's not even there no more. I think they moved. They used to be on Cumberland Street right there by Atlantic.
Copy. Right. I've noticed that with us New Yorkers, that's a really important question.
Right.
What hospital were you born in?
Yeah, you got to
because
that's just good to know history-wise.
Right.
Tell your children.
Right. And I feel you though, because my hospital is no longer in the Bronx.
Right.
I was born at Our Lady of Mercy, and that's no longer there. It's not even that it moved. It's just no longer there, right?
Just the first air we breathed in life, right? Man?
Right.
Sun rays we felt.
Right.
In its radius, right?
Right. So, and what, where did you end up going, and what were your PSs and your MSs and your
I actually
HSs?
went to school PS 270 in Brooklyn. You know, we lived in 415 Lafayette Gardens. LG, they called it LG.
Word.
Matter of fact, Easy Mo B used to live across the street from me, Mr. C, a couple other people. You know, it's a very historical place.
Right.
My pops was the groundkeeper, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
he actually brought Cheryl Chisholm out there.
Oh,
She was running for president. She spoke in Lafayette Gardens.
So she was like was she the first woman to run for president?
Yes,
I believe so.
Was.
Right,
Yes.
right. That's epic. That's pretty like, and
Shirley Chisholm.
Keeper of the Gardens, that means more than likely it was a nice property, right?
Yeah, so it was turning at that time, you know, because it was a nice place for a minute, but it had its problems. It started growing and stuff, you know how it happened. But Yeah, definitely. Then we moved to Uniondale, Long Island. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
That's where I met the leaders of the new school and all that.
Word. Holden has a question that he loves asking people about them early days.
Yeah, so basically, I'm going to grab that because I'm going to take a little sip. But basically, I got to realizing that all these interviews, when you talk to people, you see it, everybody's like hip hop journey or whatever. It starts when they kind of become a teenager. They start to develop their own identity and their own taste in music. But it made me realize that that's not the full story of anyone's musical journey. Right. So given that you're coming from parents from North Carolina, you're growing up, in New York City in a time that's super different than a lot of people now, it got me wondering a lot about the music that was around you when you were really young. We're saying like 4 years old, as early as you can remember. Like, what did it sound like to be you? Like, what were your parents listening to? How is the vibes of the energy from a musical perspective?
I mean, strictly, it was pretty much black music, but it was different, different genres. Like growing up, a lot of pops. I mean, back then, what was it? Paul McCartney and stuff like
Word.
The Wings.
Okay.
Groups, all of those type of groups coming up. It was a pretty mix. My pops, he was mainly into jazz though.
Okay. So he was a jazz head.
Yeah.
So, and your mom was into what? Because I noticed that it is like that, right?
Gospel and jazz.
Copy. Right, because it's like that, right? Where like mom is into one thing, dad is into another. Because that's how it was in my family too. Where like my mom would listen to certain stuff, pops would listen to other stuff. What was the first song that, like, when you think of back then, is like the one that like sticks out the most? That it was like they played the most in the house. You would hear it playing regularly.
Classics were Teddy Pendergrass, Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5.
Right.
Word.
That was it.
Word.
Yo, were you a big fan of music back then, or was it like something that was around you?
I mean, it was just around me. It was background, I got into music when I moved to Long Island.
Okay, so like when you were young though, what were you up to? Like, did you have other passions that you were obsessed with as a child?
I love to draw, you know what I'm saying? I love football, baseball, bowling.
Okay. So you mixed it between it was like that I remember it in New York. Growing up in New York, it was like we did a little bit of everything.
Right.
PBS, what is it? The PBS, PBS, the Little League and all that stuff,
Right.
What does PBS stand for?
Well, PBS.
It was Little League. They had.
Okay.
I forgot.
So it's like the organization
Pee-wee,
for the
something baseball league,
like
Pee Wee baseball,
Right.
something.
Stay grounded in some. Try to
This is like the city that's doing this,
or
like the schools.
This was in Long Island.
Police baseball league, right? Because it was like ran by the police, right?
It was
something like that.
Okay.
It's crazy because that's the only time that I can think of in like us like growing up in the city, right? Where like our relationship with the police is not a little, it's super contentious, right? Like we grow up like fearful of the police for the most part, right? But like the PBL was something that we did not like, and it was almost like a neutrality. Like our parents, everybody in the neighborhood was kind of like, nah, that's allowed. That's fine. You go fuck with the cops when it comes to the PBL.
And those leagues actually brought different people together.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It brought a lot of different people together.
Yeah.
Parents had to talk to each other, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
It was definitely a good thing for them.
Right.
So what made you want to draw?
Oh man, just art, period. I love drawing. Every chance I got, I would join an art class or something like that.
Was it like art of graffiti or like just general art or comic book art?
Before I was even into graffiti.
Word. Right. Okay, copy. Yeah. Right. So you were just into drawing.
Art, yeah.
Right. Copy.
Draw like 50 characters, take a clean composition book and just draw different characters.
Word.
Word.
Were you like teaching yourself? Or no, you said you had art classes, but like
definitely. I would take pieces and bits and then form my own characters.
Did you make comic books and stuff out of that?
Yeah, definitely.
That's it.
I wrote my own stuff,
Right. And so you said it was baseball and
Bowling.
Hold up, bowling?
Yeah,
Bowling. Was that
That was
Uniondale?
out there. That was out in Uniondale. Yeah.
Uniondale. See, I would suspect that because I'm like, yo, bowling. We have bowling alleys, but I feel like no. You know what? Yeah, there were a lot of bowling alleys all over the city too. It's just one of those.
Pretty good bowler too. Man.
That's crazy.
So was like bowling just bigger back then in general? Because like I don't really remember a lot of people.
I don't even think the bowling alley's there no more. Planders Lane. That's what it was called.
Uniondale. Wow.
N-I-O-N.
Yeah, right. Well, you know what though? That is like wow helpful to like all the other people, right? Like people like we take for granted, I think, like being from New York, like to us it's like because it's like almost like the capital of the country, even, like it's the informal capital of the country, right? Because DC is the capital of America.
Yeah.
But New York is really the capital of America. You know, if you've been around the country, you know we're the biggest city, right? We're the most population, you know. Yeah. But like everybody else doesn't grow up here, so they're not aware.
The gumbo.
Right. The ultimate gumbo. The ultimate gumbo. Like other places we have people from all nationalities, but it's kind of like segregated. But here, there's more of a melting pot, you know?
It's more segregated still.
Segregated as
but
well.
There's more streams and
but there are. Yeah, so comic, drawing, baseball, bowling. And so, like, this was all already starting in PS years, right?
Yeah,
so public school years.
Yeah.
So then, like, by the time middle school came around, it was more the same, or did, like, other things start developing more, like music?
It was just a growth of all of it into one. You know, it was just morphing different ways and avenues that it would go into. It was just, it's all a melting pot.
So, like, when did you go to Long Island?
71, 72.
And, like, at what point? Are you still in, like, primary school at that point? Or have you...
Yeah, I was in, like, second going to third.
Okay.
Second going to third grade.
And what was the soundtrack around that time?
Yeah.
Soundtrack was, I mean, what I'm talking about, 79.
Right.
71, I was fucking born.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I took us back some goddamn years. But yeah, I moved in 79. Yeah, 79. What was going on around now? Love is the message. Love is stuff, songs like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Heartbeat, R&B was big, you know.
Right.
A lot of groups that was coming into the 80s, transforming. Michael Jackson from the Jackson 5 to like...
that was around the time when Michael was going solo then?
Yeah.
Word.
Word.
So you were like getting into music while that was all happening.
Right.
So like you weren't just a kid, you were like a teenager during the whole Michael Jackson run.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
dope.
That's cool as fuck. Do you remember, okay, because like there's a lot of the music that's around you, but usually around this phase in life, there's a song that like stands out to you is that first song that's like, yo, this is my shit. Like, and then music kind of changes and you start looking for it. Do you remember which song that was for you?
I would say Love is the Message, man. Love is the Message. That was it. The way that beat swing and the horns and, you know, it's crazy. That song is dope.
Right. Word. So, and now you're like, we're talking about middle school years. Is this around the time that you're like getting into music and doing rapping, or was that like later on?
Yeah.
Or was it high school that like?
Nah, it was in between elementary and junior high.
Oh, in junior high. Okay. So early then.
Yeah.
So things were already, at that point we had, you already had heard things like Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah, they was coming into play, all that. Yeah. You know,
right.
That was coming into
So
play.
was it like local, like they were like a local DJ that would throw jams? And
of course. There was, what you call it? Actually, we lived around Public Enemy, Chuck D and Flavor.
Okay. Word.
You know, and they'd be at the radio stations, Hofstra, WRHU, and Adelphi, WBAU.
Word.
So college radio played a big part in early hip hop. Like,
Okay.
that was the place you can only hear it because it wasn't on the mainstream.
That was like, gonna say, like, so like Rapper's Delight and all that stuff comes out, and it's like pretty much brand new shit relative to what else. Like, what was the impact of that? Like, 'cause, like, usually when we do this, it's people who, you know, hip hop's been around for a minute when they get into it, or they've always grown up with it. But this is like, you know, you're getting into music, and it is literally becoming a fresh thing that's only in the college station. So like, how did that like impact shift for people? Like,
it made people want to go to college a little more, I believe. You know, people wanted to be around college life. So, you know, a lot of people went to school to do broadcasting or do, you know what I'm saying, you learn music business. You know?
You're saying hip hop made people want to go to college?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're saying there was an era where it was all about the colleges, you know, college music. You had to go through that outlet.
Right.
That's lit. So like, because I guess you wouldn't be rapping it until like at that point because it's so fresh. It's not like everyone on the block is rapping and things like that. No. Are people singing though? Like, do you have people on the block like singing the way people were rapping?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean,
musically,
there's always a singer, there's always a dancer. So the arts, there's always the arts around.
Right.
You know, the arts is always around.
And so, like, at what point, like, do you decide that you want to start pursuing music or having more of an interest to go down that path?
I mean, I've always wanted to pursue whatever I wanted to pursue. So it was just a matter of fact of just gaining knowledge and, you know, applying it to what I wanted to do.
So you've always wanted to make music, or?
I mean, not in particular, but when I seen people making music, I'm like, yeah, I can make music, you know.
Word. And so it started at home on your own, or was it like you and your friends around you also had the same?
Nah, just me, just
you.
Desire. Yeah.
And you started writing.
Yeah. See, and I was a good writer. I always wrote.
Okay.
You know, I always drew. You
were already drawing and writing.
Right.
So it came second nature, just adjacent.
Right.
Start writing raps.
Yep.
Word. And so from there, what was the development of it? Was it like
It was school battles and stuff like that. Okay. You know,
right.
Lunchrooms.
Okay.
You know, entertaining, finding your crowd, finding your audience.
Right.
And picking them.
I was explaining to them about how like we have the privilege in New York about like having music that comes from here, that's about here, that's so classic.
Right.
And it doesn't ever, like, generations later, there's still kids growing up listening to all the old stuff because it still applies. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like,
because we always talk, New York language, you try to talk universally, you don't try to limit it to a time, a date. You don't try to date your music. You just, it's a vibe.
Right.
No, but in particular, it's like we pulled up in front of his house, and that Ja Rule song, "It's New York," it's like that shit's playing. Like, like what I'm saying is like, I'm from Montreal, right?
Right.
So like, you're not really hearing people go, "It's Montreal." Like you don't have like a whole bunch of joints
different
like
time
that.
and place.
So for us, it's like, I don't know. I hear that Ja Rule song, and I'm like, oh yeah, high school. It's not like I'm going to go put that on. Whereas if you're from here, it's about here, and it's an anthem for the people of here. And hip hop's blessed like that, because like, we're just driving down streets, and it's like, oh shit, I heard that street name in a lyric before. Oh shit, I heard that in a lyric before. And like, it just adds this like rich culture to the music, where across time, there's always going to be a Fulton Avenue. There's always going to be these things.
Right.
Yeah, and then, that kind of is a story that, like, we all, like, because that was my story, too, right? Was, like, when we first started rapping, it was in the lunchroom.
Right.
And battling.
You did it for fun.
Like, it was, like, battling was, like, second nature. It was literally for fun.
Right.
It wasn't as competitive
and it wasn't like trying to blow up, it's not like
really
trying to blow up. Right. It's like, I'm not blowing up.
We was just having a good time. Right. Exactly.
Mm.
But it sharpened your sword.
Exactly.
Early.
And you leared, the more you did it, the more sharpened,
the better you got. Yeah. Right. All right. So now you're doing these, like, battles and ciphering at the lunch table with friends in school. how did things progress from there? Was it like you immediately like gave yourself a name, or did your like friends give you a name?
Nah, it's just a family name, Dinco.
Word. Family name.
Yeah.
So the family was already calling you Dinco. Yeah. So by the time you was rapping, everybody's already calling you Dinco, and it sounds like that sounds like a rapper's name.
Yeah.
It does.
You know, it's a street name. Dinco's a street family name.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Nickname the family calls you. Yeah. Right. Because that's the thing, is that we don't name ourselves, right?
Yeah.
You're not allowed, you weren't really, like, I tried to name myself as a rapper 20 times before it took with my friends, because none of them, like, they were just like, we're not calling you that. Like, I would keep on coming up with names, like, I remember I tried to be like, yo, call me Carnage Page. And they were like, what? I'm not calling you that, bro. It was just like, nah,
Carnage
son.
Page?
Yeah, they was like, nah, we not calling you that, bro. Like, that's just not, and you get given your name, right? So, like, my name was Ray, but, like, you know, because I was the youngest one in the crew, I would get sent to the store for the Dutches. And, you know, I would bring the Dutches, and I would roll up Dutches, and I would have to roll up all the blunts. So, like, Dutch was the given name, you know? Like, it's one of those things that made sense. You know what I'm saying? Dinco is like a family name. So, like, but it sounds like a name that, like, everybody else is going to be fine with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's clearly,
it's original,
like,
you know?
Yeah, everybody's already using it.
And it's Dinco.
Right.
It also just sounds good. Like, Dinco D. Like, it just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Just, you know, it's just blessed with it.
Right. Right. So,
yeah, like, what's, like, how does this, so you're just rapping, everyone's all casual with it, and, like, I guess what's different is, like, are people, like, starting to get signed in the hood and stuff? Like, it's, like,
I mean,
how is this, actually progressing to get,
No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I just, like, to get people more inspired to bring it to this next level, because it's not, like, everybody's already popping like it is 10 years later, where there's a lot more examples.
Well, I had a lot of local pioneers, you know, Seriously Fine, and they was working with Jam Master Jay, Mantronics, he was from around the way. A lot of early pioneers, Public Enemy, they was from around the way. So it was a lot of local influences that, you know, we had to bounce off of.
So you guys were seeing them all doing it, and like, what made you? What got the spark to like get you to take it more seriously and push that next level?
Just trying to make something happen, man. Having a vision and seeing how far we could push it. You know, I got with some other brothers that were from Long Island, and you know, we did it big.
Right. So tell us about how like you guys like linked up a bit.
Through life, just linked up.
Right.
Or was it school, or was it like the neighborhood?
Leaders of the New School, yeah.
Word. Right. So it was through school. Right. Or sometimes it'd be that actual, like,
right there in your face.
Yeah.
So you guys are at school, and then you guys were all battling with each other. It's all part of the same, like, cipher.
Some, of course, you know, just to keep everybody's sword sharp. And then, you know.
You guys just start writing songs together, and it just, like, wasn't natural.
Yeah, we started taking it serious, and then connected with the local influences that, you know, that were our influences, and they was in arm's reach. We got with them, and then we exerted effort and just went hard, and got noticed.
So it's really just like you guys put your work together. And was this like you were recording demos, or was it like you had to pull up and like rap and like do this in real life? Like,
it's all of the above, everything. You got to do it all. You don't know what's going to be the next step, the next move.
So how did
you can do everything and not do nothing right? You know what I'm saying?
How did you guys actually like make demos and stuff in the 80s? Like, what was your process like to like, you know, create those early tapes and whatnot?
life, just everything around me.
I mean, like, technologically, like, how did you guys actually make your demos and stuff?
Like,
did you
was
have
there
access to
studio
studios,
access through...
Yeah.
No,
like, you had to, pay for studio. If somebody had a studio, we went to every outlet and access that we could to get the work done. There was no limit. There was no specific routine.
There wasn't like a specific studio or a specific person that y'all went through. It was just y'all kept on. I mean,
510, Chuck D eventually gave us the ultimate guidance, and you know,
Oh,
set
wow.
us in a position. He actually named the group, so shout out to Chuck D.
Word.
And 510, Hank and Shot. Hank and Keith Shockley. Every
Word.
Vietnam Saddler. It's a whole list of people, man. I can't even go to that.
Right.
But yeah, peace to my 510 family.
Word.
Big
And
shout
so-
out to my man Shamelo D. He's another rebel. You know what I'm saying? Rebel soul.
And so he was he like part of your age group of right? Because like
Nah, he was a
I'm
little older.
imagining
He was a
Chuck
little
D
older.
was like a little bit older.
Yeah.
So like
He actually worked at the radio station with a lot of other good dudes. So
Word.
yeah,
Wait, Chuck at the radio
Yeah,
station.
yeah.
Word.
WBAU. He went to Adelphi.
Word.
So he was at the college station. He basically got the knowledge and the plug from that information, brought it back to y'all, and helped y'all
And
legitimize
just
your
open out
operation.
outlets. Yeah, just open up.
And you guys-
Shared the knowledge.
Right.
So as you guys started recording music, were you also able to go like do shows and perform? Like, what was the vibe like back then?
It was, man, do whatever you can do. We was just hungrier, you know. Whoever was hungrier was going to do more. So
Right.
we was hungrier for what we wanted, and we did more. We did a lot.
Right.
You know.
Ciphering everywhere, battling everywhere,
whatever
jumping
it took.
on stage anywhere. Anytime that there was a studio booth open, jump in the booth. Like, oh, we got
Yeah.
something ready to go.
Live, eat, and breathe it, man.
Right.
Right.
Right. So, blessings. So then, not long from after that is when you guys got signed, right?
Right, yeah.
And you guys got signed to
Elektra Records.
Elektra, which is owned by Time Warner. It's
Yeah, they was. I mean, it's sold. I don't know. I don't follow them no more. You know.
right, but it was.
There was a necessary outlet at that time, you know.
I'm sure though that it wasn't like it didn't feel like a boutique label. Is what I was trying to get to.
Nah.
Right,
Nah, this is-
right. Like it
It
was
was
a
dead
big
serious.
building,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
big building, the big offices.
Yeah.
Y'all went to sign at like
The whole smoking everything. The mirrors,
all the smoking mirrors. Right.
Right.
The
limos to the, you know.
right. The limos. Back when it was when limos wasn't that like I feel like
They were starting to go out a little, the low ones, but then we was in the prime, man. The limos was, you know, we caught the limo game good. That
Fly
was nice,
shit.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
you know, we never really, I mean, that wasn't our thing. you
Yeah,
know?
no,
We
of course
never-
not. Because when you're young, you don't know, right? Like, it's one of those things where, like, a lot of those things that happen when you first get signed, it's like, you don't even know how to truly appreciate it.
Well, I mean, you
Because
could appreciate
you
it, but sometimes it just ain't what it looks to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The most are a little overrated.
Yeah, it was overrated.
Fair.
I like the freedom. You know, if you got your own limo, but I don't, you know.
Right.
You know, I'm
That-
sharing it with
Yeah, I don't, you know.
whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know who my driver is. I want to know who made the car. You know what I'm saying?
Have a relationship with driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally
Right.
understandable.
this
Totally
makes sense. So you guys get like signed and it's like, I guess, how does that change things? So all of a sudden you have access to the record label machine, and like for me that just sounds like, okay, things happen, but like what actually takes place next? Like what do they do? Do they like help? They provide you with the tools? Do they push your
Yeah,
music?
they
Like,
got it. They have a machine. They run you through their machine, man. Break down numbers and chalk up numbers and remove numbers and tell you what they want to tell you. So,
so,
Right.
but like did
And
they
The
then-
like,
removing numbers is the key part.
and then you know you gotta get
Don't do too
you gotta get
good.
lawyers to fight their lawyers, and then the lawyers is already together. So
then the lawyers are
Right. The lawyers are
It's
friends.
all a big lawyer game, and
right? So like
and if they don't like your lawyer, they'll try to get your lawyer fired. And I'll tell you, the game is dirty, man.
Right.
Right. Did they like impact stuff creatively, or did you guys have a lot of freedom with that to do what you wanted?
We do. That's one thing. We pretty much had the freedom to do what we want. You know what I'm saying? They gave us a good range of freedom to do what
That's
we like.
nice. That's good.
And
Because back then,
It was
I'm
new.
sure
We was fresh. They
I
were
was
still
gonna say,
trying to
they-
find out
they didn't really have a
how
formula
can we
yet.
package it and sell it and get the most out of it and take, you know, and not
Right.
spend the most.
Right.
They knew how to package it and sell it to mass numbers of people.
Right.
But they still hadn't developed what they would have looked at as the formula for a hit. So they weren't trying to force something on you because they were dependent on you to bring the culture to them.
Right. And they were going to break it down, pick and select and part, until they get the perfect model. And that's what they do.
Word.
And like with that though, that it unlocks more touring opportunities, I imagine, through the label.
Yeah, I mean, but we do. We was hitting the streets and we knew a lot of promoters. Puffy would let us rock in at some of his clubs in the city, parties and stuff like that, and different all the underground promoters and stuff. So we had a nice following in the city.
So Puff was like a active promoter. Because I always heard stories of him being a promoter, but
Puffy was doing his thing.
Word. It always sounded like he
put that work in. He put his work in.
Right.
Always had a ear for some good talent. Because like I always think about all the names that are here, and I'm like, oh.
Amanda Shear too. Shout out to her. Amanda Shear. She was doing some parties and Jessica Rosenblum.
Jessica Rosenblum, another name.
Blum, what is it? Yeah, that was my homegirl back then. She definitely held us down with shows. Shout out to my girl Ma. Yeah, there was a lot of promoters back then. Man.
Yeah,
we did all them clubs.
I remember hearing Jessica's name like by the time I came around, she's already done promoting parties and was doing bigger things in the industry. But I would hear like the legend of those shows, and the legend of the way that the venues used to be, right? Like we had so many clubs in New York City, so many outlets for people to perform at,
Right.
I feel like those don't really exist as much anymore, or it's less.
Well, there's different owners of the buildings and stuff like that.
Right.
It's migration.
How were the parties different back then? Like,
the parties were pretty cool. It was basically artists and executives hanging out like normal people. There was no table, no VIP.
Right.
It was raw. It was all raw.
No VIP back then. That's crazy.
Nah, there was no VIP.
Right. Because everybody's VIP. Where you gonna make a VIP section for? It's like this whole spot is VIP. What are we talking about? Everybody comes through the door is VIP.
Mixed in there, but it was all.
Nah, but it was still VIP. Because those people that were regular and made it in there, they weren't regular, right?
It was harder to get in those parties.
Right, exactly. They were a little bit more special in their appearance. Yeah. So they got in for the party for a particular reason.
And you had to know, everybody didn't know about certain parties, so.
Right.
Right. And you guys, got connected because you're
we did the footwork.
We
stayed out in the city, stayed there. Made that trek from Long Island and Manhattan every night.
Right. What was the first thing that you remember? Like, what's the fondest memory that you have of those early days when you guys first got signed? That's the thing that you look back at as like, yo, that really, like, was like a feel good moment.
Living Color, I would say in Living Color.
In Living Color?
Did we do Arsenio first? No, we did in Living Color first. When we did in Living Color, and you on a major channel station show, that was the highlight.
And then also it was the show that the culture we were
show that like 10 of the top comedians came from right now.
We all had channel 2, 4, 5, 7, 11, all these channels, right? But like, in Living Color was like, these are the things that matter to us. Living Color, Arsenio Hall show,
right?
So like, I could understand where that was.
That Cali trip, that did it.
It was in Cali that they were filming.
Yeah. We had to go there on the lot on the what was it? Was they on NBC? I don't forget which network. But whatever, they had the lot, you call it where they do movies and shows and stuff.
That's so dope.
So you guys like went down there, and what's it like performing for TV? Is it like different than a venue in terms of
it's just production team, cameras. It ain't nothing crazy, crowd control. It's a whole program environment.
Right. It's
but it's just different, you know, you pull up in the lot and stuff like that.
Right.
And they got gifts for you in the rooms.
It's a little bit more show about appreciating the appearance. So
I mean,
TV and movie got bigger budgets.
Right.
Right.
They don't play.
Right. And so was that the same trip, Arsenio and
Nah, that was years after. That was
years
2
after.
years. That was like 2 years after.
2 years after. When you did 11 Color, was it like, did you get to kick it with the weigh-ins?
Nah, you seen them in the back room going.
They were working. They were working.
They were working.
They were working.
Yeah,
right.
You see you in the hall, they shout you out. And
word.
It was love.
Right. That must be dope though.
Oh man, it's a great feeling.
Yeah,
I got like 2-3 robes. You know, they give you a robe and all that.
Oh, that's dope.
Cute shit. Yeah.
That's fresh.
Yeah. That's
right.
dope.
Right. Right. So what after that things, you know, we know kind of like the things that everybody else knows, right? So like that's not really what I think matters more. Like I think what matters more is like your like your moods through the changes through the years. You know what I mean? Like what was, you know, as things keep progressing, right? Clearly group breaks up, you guys all go solo, right? What was it like then? What was the energy like? How did you feel about, you know, in general, where the culture and the music was going?
It was good, man. I mean, as long as it was living, it was good. But I basically took a break, man, and just, you know, just went back to working and doing some regular things and stuff, you know, figuring out my new plan now that, you know, I signed when I was 18.
Right.
And I'm like 22 now and no fucking job. Right. So I had to reconfigure my plan. And it was good, man.
Word. So about how long did you take?
I mean, I'm still figuring it now. You know what I'm saying? It never stops.
Right. Probably started more entrepreneurial.
Yeah, on my own, just doing things on my own terms, my own time.
Word.
Putting it together.
What was the biggest passion that like, oh, this is something that like, besides rapping, right? That like, oh, this is the thing that I like really enjoy. Like, I really enjoy.
I like being around people, man, and seeing people evolve, seeing the kids grow.
Right.
I like seeing plants grow.
Right.
Simple shit, man.
Because you've taken. I know that you've done many of the homies through EO Dub.
Yeah.
A lot of solids, and
dope.
That's always looking out for like the next generation. So that's what I'm kind of mean, right? Because like for me, one of my favorite things to do besides, right, like, because we have a passion for making music. We're artists, right? So like the passion is like making music, the art of the journey with the music making. But like I find a passion for like sequencing my friends' albums. You know what I mean? Like, I really like sitting with, like, oh, you put together 15 songs. All right, let me sit with these 15 songs and start putting them in the right order.
Yeah, that's
and like maybe plugging in little skits.
That's part of that's part of loving people and being around people.
Right.
Man, you know, just doing something for somebody that they don't have an idea that you could do, and do it, man, and just, you know, try to make people happy, man, and do it and enjoy life. Simple.
Word. And so did you end up having children, getting married?
Yes. I got 2 sons. They chilling.
Was like that when you were in the music industry? One of them was born after.
Just recently, yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
So you're like a new father.
Yeah.
Word.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Real. Yeah. Because now there's so much wisdom that you can impart. You know what I mean?
I love it. I love family life. It's beautiful.
Because knowledge is kind of like the most valuable thing, I think.
Love my wife and my family. It's great, man.
Right.
Beautiful.
Blessings.
It's great for the soul.
Blessings, yo. For real. And so
great for balance too, man.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Sometimes I wish I would have started earlier, you know, if I was in the right situation.
Word.
Sometimes.
No, but it sounds like it was like a choice to wait. So,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Because like,
yeah, it was definitely a choice.
I'm pretty sure you could have.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like if you wanted to have a kid when you was in the music industry, I'm pretty sure that there was no shortage of people, of women, that would have wanted to, start a family with you.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so it was voluntary. But that's like, that speaks to, I think, right? You spoke about a few things. I'm like, going to college for having the passion of music and all this pushing you to want to go to college for it, right? Being knowledgeable enough to not have children during your run when you're doing all these things because
it's a sacrifice.
Yeah, it's sacrifice. You're focused on this goal. You know what I mean? These are like what, not to knock anybody who might have not done those things, right? But like, I think that speaks to the like intelligence that you had as a young man, because like to have the foresight to be like, nah, right now is not the right time for that. Also to be young enough and to be like, yo, I'm going to go to college for this. I'm going to go to school for communications for, like that's like a standard that like, yo, I would love to see that brought back. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's actually there, man. It's there. They just don't show it. So
you
just we need you out in the streets to
promoting it.
Find them and show them.
Promoting it.
Whatever you promote, man, that's what people see.
True facts.
So you find that there's still a lot of people that go to college just to like chase the whole music side of it up.
There's thousands of them.
Yeah, it is true.
They go on a different journalism part, or you know what I'm saying, or just the business aspect. Everybody, there's people out there. You just got to show them the knowledge. I mean, show them that it's actually happened.
Right.
Right.
And show them where to go.
Because otherwise, it's like if everything just looks like a bunch of dropouts and a bunch of this and people like there's almost this like myth that I would call it that you're supposed to go drop out of school, suffer, do the worst jobs possible, and like even if it's legal, like go be a busboy and like don't even have aspirations. That way you can make the purest art ever. And like that's like I hear that a lot from people in my regular life, and that's what's pushed. But then like a lot of successful, I think 2 Chainz went to college.
Yeah, a lot of people. Man.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
But they promote, they show what they want to show.
Right.
No, absolutely. What school did you go to?
Unidale? Unidale.
Right. And like, so like, do you feel that like in addition to just access to the music that college has, like is it important beyond the school to go to college? Like I did not go to university.
You have to go to some type of school. It could be a learning circle with a mentor, a professor, or something, a parent. You know what I'm saying, or just the atmosphere you surround yourself with.
So it's about like the environment more so than the actual education.
Yeah. And it's hand in hand. You gotta have good teachers with good information.
Right.
And good ways to teach.
Right. Because not everybody is teaching from a perspective of having been there.
Right.
Some people are teaching from the perspective of not ever having been able to achieve it and wanting it.
That happens a little bit too much, especially with the YouTube era and Twitter Spaces and all that. So like when it comes down to like the whole musical journey, where are some of the coolest places you got to like visit that you never really thought you'd get to go?
Well, 2 years ago, I went and I was teaching in Russia. That's the best. In Moscow. I went to Moscow, with the State Department. I went and taught MCing out there for like 3-4 different places, man, for like a month.
That's
wildfire.
Like Russia? Like the State Department sent you to
Russia?
Griner
just came. What's her name? Where she just came from?
Brittany Griner, right?
Yeah.
Word. Yeah. So I'm assuming, right? You brought it up. It was a good experience then.
Great experience.
Great. Right. So this is something that I find fascinating because what happened to Brittany Griner, a lot of people did feel like, oh, this is crazy. And I'm like, yo, everybody that I know from the culture has always spoken highly of visiting Russia.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody.
I mean, I've heard rumors like, yo, they don't like this type of people, you know, but I got over there and
it's wild love.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah. Everybody that I speak to is always like, yeah, they don't have, right, like we all know, right, plenty of, there's bad people in every group. And every group of people and in every country, there's going to be bad people everywhere, right? But I'm not focused on the bad people, right? I'm focusing on who I'm meeting.
Exactly.
And if I'm meeting all good people and I'm having a good time, and everybody that I know who visits out there says the same thing, it's almost like, whoa, what? Something must have happened with the Brittany Griner. I think it might have been something political. You know what I mean?
It couldn't have been political. She probably just got caught with something and then it got made political.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Because even that, I even heard of like homies be like, "Yo, nah, I smoke wild bud in Russia. What are you talking about?" Like, it was fine, you know. But I guess it was fine until it's not fine.
I mean, she got caught at the border.
Right.
She got caught at the airport.
Right.
Like if I got caught here,
checking hard right there. Facts. Yeah, when I was coming from Thailand, nothing got bothered except I had a Zippo lighter. I bought like a Zippo lighter that had like some nice engraving from Bangkok, and when I came through from Thailand into China to lay over from China back to America, they like the Zippo got like my lock got undone, all that.
Oh, they checked all of that shit.
And when I opened it, they had like a little pink slip with all the writing in Chinese. Like I guess they were telling me what they did. You know what I mean?
That's
but
crazy.
like I was just like, yo, it's crazy. But all that they took was the Zippo lighter. So I still had the Zippo box.
The inside, the guts. They took the guts.
It was just the lighter that they took.
Yeah, they took the guts out.
It's just the lighter. They were like, you can keep all that. We taking out this. This is flammable. You can't fly with flammable shit.
Simple
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Simple.
Just rules, man. There's rules and regulations, dude.
There's rules and regulations.
Everything ain't about a political bounce ball, you know, and it's just about rules, man. And sometimes you get caught up, and hopefully you don't. Sometimes you might, man.
Right. Some Americans have a tendency of thinking too Americanized when they travel places.
Right.
And thinking like, I have freedom of speech and I have all these things. That's like, that only applies to the United States of America.
Right.
As soon as you leave those borders, none of those rules that you know from America apply. You need to know the rules of where you're at.
I mean, that's the world. Laws and money.
Right.
You better know those.
It's also one of those things where I think the more that you respect people's homes, right? Like my mother taught me to never disrespect a man in his home.
Of course.
Right?
Right.
So when I go places, I don't look to disrespect people in their home.
Right.
And so with that attitude, I've always kind of had like a good time everywhere that I go, you know? Because I respect everybody's home and I just, you know.
Shout out to my peoples, my translator. I actually did a video with her and my man Igory from Russia. I had a good time out there, man.
So you had like a translator with you the whole time?
Yeah. That's dope.
I went to Pakistan and my boy had to like every
Yeah.
shop. Like,
I mean, we had other people who was rolling with us that knew stuff, but then, you know, we just was able to venture out on our own. And it's just like, you know, it was very ill. It was ill.
Right, because you get places and there's people in the country that are like, I don't speak English.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's when your English speaking Russian friends is like, yo,
hold me down.
Translate for
POP.
I want to know what they say.
What were the crowds like performing there?
Oh man, it was beautiful. I did a show in at this skate bar. I forgot the name of it, called Punk. What was it? The Punk Bar or something. But it was outside and inside, and they had a skate tube on the inside, like half inside, outside. It was so dope. Yeah. But it was like about downtown Moscow somewhere.
That's crazy.
Word. Oh, so Moscow, right? So Moscow is like the capital of Russia. So it's like that's where like I feel like that's like the New York City of Russia. You know?
It was pop. It was
where
cool,
it's like
man.
I think everything that I've ever seen in movies from Russia, because I've never actually been blessed to get out there yet. right? Yeah, I do. You know,
Yeah, I'm glad I went when I went.
That's gonna get a little trickier.
Things are a little bit different now.
My passport's still open, but
right. But
there's other places in Russia, like a lot of people go to St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg.
And stuff
We get a lot of Littyyy Bros gets burned in St. Petersburg.
Yeah, they got
one song.
They got a great
that
hip hop
gets
following.
wild play in St. Petersburg. I'm like,
ain't no hip hop, man. I mean, I was here. Even in northern Russia, I went to Sikatar and this other place called Arch English, some place out there. But they was playing some real old school, like I think Treacherous
traditional.
They was playing some original rap. It was dope.
Word.
That's dope. I heard, like, have you done a lot of Europe stuff?
Nah, I haven't been to Europe in a minute. I did we did a tour out there back in the day, but I ain't been there in a while.
Fair. I heard, like, Europe's a lot more into, like, the older style of hip-hop. Like, for them, it's...
Yeah, they got, for like, you know...
It's like they care about, like, is it sounding good? Not when did it get dropped.
Yeah, all right. They got, listen, man, I mean, they got their eyes on it, on the microscope. You know, they definitely study.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I've always heard, right? Like, I've always heard about how well whether it's homies from the indie circuit, right? Or like PH or like Jean Grey or Poison Pen and them, right? Like, they always have
they stay out there killing it.
Killing it in the other countries that they just...
A lot of people, Onyx been out there for a while killing that. They was actually coming to Moscow, or they had just went there when I was out there.
Actually, yeah, I watched the interview
Onyx
with Onyx talking about that.
Question is, and how did you get to be walking in with a box of your own shoes?
Oh, man. It feels like Christmas.
Right.
It feels dope, man. It feels good. This was a long time dream in the works. It just fell in place. Shout out to my man, Samuel. I met him in Canada. He actually brought me out there for a show, you know, and he had an idea called ETA, you know what I'm saying? And we just put it together. 360.
Where in Canada?
He's out in the woods somewhere, man. I can't exactly remember.
Just a random spot in Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of
it's
Canada's
big. It's big, man. Everything ain't.
Canada is mostly.
It was cool, and that was another place,
farms.
man.
And farms. Yeah,
that was actually another place that was cool. Like this, man. It was like just a place in time that just stood still, man. It was crazy.
Word. So it felt like olden.
Yeah, like olden US type. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Right.
Word. There's...
So yeah, like, you got the shoes made, you guys teamed up, and then, like, what goes into picking a shoe? Like, okay, so you get this moment where you can make your dream shoe. Like, did you already know what you wanted in your head, or did you guys have to, like...
Yeah, I had an idea, man. Like, I had been working on this logo, and I've been working on different things.
Right.
You know, and I took pieces of bits, everything, and just upgraded it, updated it. And present it well. That's it.
Nice.
You know, you get sharper after doing it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, 500 hours, is it? You know, like that applies to everything.
Everything. Man.
Everything and I like, the older that I get, the more that I find pride in my comfortability with being uncomfortable.
Exactly. Right? You have to, and
that's
a big problem right now. People don't know how to feel comfortable or uncomfortable.
Right.
You know.
Right.
They want you to feel uncomfortable when they're
and it's like, nah, that's not
the way the world.
That's the way
the world goes.
Yeah, you can only control yourself. right. So like, that's why like I don't ever like really worry about. Like,
right, and when you come from, you know, dealing with a lot of people, being around a lot of people at times, you learn to deal, you know, you got to deal with other people's problems, but you still got to maintain, you know what I'm saying, some type of sensibility.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, are those shoes available now? Like,
yes.
You can just go buy them on the site?
The site. You can go and, you know, go to my website, the page, and the link is on there. DincoD.com. DINCOD.com.
Word.
And DincoD.info. NYC. So it's DINCOD.NYC and DINCOD.com. Either one. They open
Go to the same site.
Yeah, I seen some of the other swag that's on there, right? Like
I got I got my lyrics from Scenario. You can go buy that shirt. I got this shirt I shot in Russia because I did a project out there. It's called Stop Rushing the Judgment.
That shirt.
That's nice a good title.
Yeah, Stop Rushing the Judgment. You can get that too. Just hit me on my website. I don't know if it's up there. I'll put them up and take them down.
So if it's not up there, hit him up.
Hit me up.
And he'll be like, okay, I can figure this out.
I can figure this out for you. Simple.
Right.
And so, like, you just kind of keep, like, what's next for you? Like, in terms of, like, do you have any, like...
It's unlimited. I don't know.
So you just, like, let the universe... Things just fall in your lap and you run it.
Yeah, and I'm running it. Call play right there.
Right.
That is a powerful way to live life. Like, you just don't even stress it in the least.
I mean, you get to a point, you can't.
You're comfortable being uncomfortable.
Facts.
And there's a power in that a lot of people don't realize, right? Because it's like, there's the thing, is that anytime, if you're not, that means that you're comfortable in being comfortable. And being comfortable is not really growing. You're not growing at life.
No.
And if you're growing at life, you're doing something that you don't know how to do. And if you're doing something you don't know how to do, you're uncomfortable. because you're not, it's not the same confidence as that thing that you do 100 times or 1,000,000 times. But as you put in those hours doing that thing that you feel uncomfortable, you get comfortable. Right. But then as you obtain that comfortability, you're like, yo,
that on the album right there.
I want to get uncomfortable again because I want that feeling. I want to keep on growing. I want to keep on striving for more. I want to keep on learning new things. There's no point that, when you older that you should be like, oh, I learned it all. No, you're still on earth. You're still breathing. There's still something new to learn. There's something new getting done that you can learn about,
And there's new opportunities that will just appear if you have the right mindset for it.
And also, just before I go, I got a new single coming out with my man Tony Stan's video shot by Chuck Steak. It's called Lord Have Mercy. Lord Have Mercy. It's crazy.
Oh, word. Shouts out to the homie Chuck Steak. Chuck Steak is the one that...
Tony Stan.
He's the one that recorded our Littyyy Bro's Redux video that goes in. So, yeah.
So we just shot that yesterday, and I got another video for my solo album coming out later this year. I got 2 projects that's coming out. My first real dedicated solo album, and a collab joint with Tony Stan. Dope.
That's dope. Right. So you're just... Again, letting the art take you where it goes,
man.
Instead of trying to tame the wild horse, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a ride for a minute, but yeah, I like to walk, man.
I feel you.
Totally understand.
I feel you. Word, Joe. So,
appreciate you coming.
Thank
through,
you.
man.
I appreciate y'all, man. Perfect setting, nice, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I can ride back nice, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for giving us your time. Thank you for being here. Could you tell people your links, like where to find online?
DincoD.com.
Right.
DincoD.NYC.
And if they
Google, and if you don't, go to Google DINCOD.
Right. And if they're looking for you on Instagram or...
Yeah, same thing. Dinco D. Dinco D hip hop. Dinco D NYC. Dinco D. Twitter. All the joints. Word. I'm gonna figure out the QR code and all that good stuff so I could just flash and zap it or whatever.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely get one of those QR codes because then if you on video, links, you can still just get it from the video. No, yeah, absolutely. Word. I'm gonna get one of those popples, one of those things
they
that you put on the back of your
shit.
phone, and you can just tap it on people's phone.
Oh yeah, I don't like that phone-to-phone access.
Feels,
it's a little,
it's all intrusive.
I don't want to be tapping. I'll give him that. Right, we tapping electronics. Come on, man.
Right,
it's crazy.
No, but it would send people to your shit.
Yeah,
right.
I've seen it. But the QR code is
definitely does the same thing. Definitely does the same thing. But thank you for giving us your time.
Thank y'all, man. I enjoyed it, man. Like I said, watch out for making the hits soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely,
We'll record something in here.
We appreciate you coming through, but we also just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching this, because y'all are important too. Without you, there's no show. So make sure you hit DincoD.com, you cop that merch. Make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But more importantly, hit up that Patreon, patreon.com/perspective, spell like the channel below, PRSPCTVS. And yeah, if you like what we do, show a little fiscal support, you can come to New York and get a beautiful guided tour from Littyyy Bro Flacko over here. Or come to Montreal with me. On that note, we appreciate you again. We'll be back with more content soon. So live long and prosper, everyone.
Dinco, go Dinco.
It's Littyyy Podcast. It's Littyyy Podcast. Podcast. It's Littyyy. D-I-O